Welcome to the Rockpile Podcast, the show where journeys are told, challenges are embraced, and victories are celebrated. Touchdown! This is your platform for authentic conversations with athletes, coaches, teams, business leaders, and so much more. Every episode dives deep into the highs, the lows, and the obstacles that shape incredible stories of resilience and triumph. Ready? Break! Whether you're chasing your dreams, overcoming adversity, or simply looking for inspiration, you've come to the right place. So, let's climb together. This is the Rock Pile.
Good morning. Welcome to the Mohawk Valley Sportswatch here on the Rock Pile. Happy to be with you here on Sunday morning. We got a fun local show for you here this morning. Look forward to talking some RFA hockey with Coach Jason Nowicki here in just a little bit as the boys go to 15-0-1. And then at the bottom of the hour, we'll talk to Hall of Famers, Coach Emily and Mike Durr. We'll have father-daughter on at about 9:30. as both are going to be inducted into the New York State Basketball Hall of Fame. So we'll talk to both here in just a little bit. If you're listening on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, if you have any questions, comments for the show, just put them in the comment box. I'll try to bring as many over as I can. The podcast will be up on Spotify, Apple Music, and iHeartRadio. I want to give a special shout out and thanks to my son. I'm not sure he's listening. He's probably in bed. But if you see the banner behind me, we kind of reset up my basement last night. We kind of moved some things around, trying a few things out today. So there might be a few changes, some different cameras, some different lighting, trying to see what might work for the podcast on Wednesday night on the Rock Pile. We'll have the mental health podcast, which I'm really excited to talk about that. A lot of people have sent me some questions. We got some sponsorships. If you're looking at sponsoring that show, just shoot me a message on any platform. I will get into the NFL today. I got to get into my picks. I'll probably run one more Chalk Talk session back here over the next couple weeks to wrap up my college football with some awards and stuff. So I'll be posting that over the next few weeks. But I'm excited to talk to Coach Nowicki. I was not at the West Jenny game last week. But from what I've heard from people in the area, it was sitting room only. You could not get a seat over at the Kennedy Arena from what I heard. They said it was a great atmosphere for a game against West Jenny. Another controversial goal we'll talk about with Coach. But I was one of the guys online yesterday, I thought said it best. And I don't like to mention any names on here, but they said it almost reminds you of the 80s again, where RFA hockey's really good, and RFA basketball's really good. And I want to give Coach Medicis a shout out too, because I was trying to work him in, but he's got chaos today. He came on this morning with me here behind the scenes to make sure everything looked okay. But I want to talk to him too about the season that they've had. A huge win against rival Proctor this week where they were trailing. They shot 4 of 30, Coach said, from the three-point line and still found a way to win. And I said this, I was thinking the other night too, when we have this group chat with Coach Medicis, myself, the stat man, Pags, and then Cody Smith jumps on with us too sometimes. But I think it was just Pags, Medicis, and myself. And I'm saying any game I go to, whether it's a football, basketball, baseball, any game, I always put the coaching hat on, right? And again, I say this with all due respect. I don't ever criticize coaches. I may talk about, maybe their strategies and all that, and I was saying to Nick after like their night a game where they won by like 60, and I was at that game until halftime, and I'm trying to think, like, if I was playing them, how do you defend them? And I really and truly think the only way you have a chance to beat them is if they shoot 4 of 30 from the three-point line. But I thought was really special about the game against Proctor. Again, I was not there. I was just getting some of the play-by-play from Coach and some others, is they found a way to win. And I think that's the difference with a lot of teams, that if you play bad and you're not at your best, and it's going to happen, right? We see it in the NFL. We see it in college basketball, college football, you name it, we see it where a team plays really well. I mean, look at Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. He played really well in the regular season. He didn't play the greatest last week against Buffalo. It happens, and even for youth sports with the young kids, it happens all the time, and they've played really good basketball. Went down to, I think it was Long Island, um, played 2 really good teams who they beat. And listen, there's no doubt they're gonna get through this area. Sectionals, they'll probably run into CNS, Liverpool, some good teams. They'll probably get a chance to play Proctor again. But I wanna make sure I give him a shout out too because I've been trying to get him on in the morning, but he's been running around. So he gets a lot of credit too for the job that he's done with that program. And I think one thing you can say about it is he found a style that works. So when you talk about coaches in any sport where it's, this always bothers me as a football coach when people will say, "Well, what offense do you run?" And I answer this the same way, and I'm like, I don't really have a set offense. Like some coaches will say, "Well, they're a spread offense no matter what." I've never been the coach to say that and answer a question that way because I really think it depends on the personnel. Like RFA over the years hasn't had a big guy. Now this year he's got a 6'10" kid. I think he's 6'10", Cordell Williams, Rondell's kid. We haven't had that in the program in 100 years. I always joke and say that when I played, our center, Springfield, thanks, Nazy, I forgot about that. That when I played, our center was Jimmy Catanzaro, who's if he's 6 foot, we're lucky. So I credit him and credit the whole entire basketball program. I saw Coach Nazy just put up a little post. He's doing a great job too at the JV level. And then you got a group of modified kids coming up. So RFA basketball is in really good hands. So I want to make sure I give those guys a shout out too, because we've talked a lot of football over the last so many months, and now we're going to kind of switch gears. So now we'll talk to Coach Jason Nowicki here in just a few minutes. And I was going back and I was looking, and the hockey people may get on me because I follow RFA hockey. I follow all RFA sports. I can't really break down the X's and O's in hockey as I might be able to try to break down in football or basketball or baseball because I didn't play hockey. But I was looking at the last 2 seasons for Rome hockey, and I went through the last 3 seasons, and they've won over 30 games. Well, let me before I do that, let me bring on Coach because he's on. And Coach, I was just trying to tell the group, I said, "Don't get on me because I follow RFA hockey. I follow all Rome sports, but it's probably one of the only sports other than soccer I can't break down the X's and O's, or at least try to break it down." So I told the hockey faithful, "Be easy on me today. I'm not gonna get into too much of that stuff," but everybody always laughs. I'm like, "I can't break down hockey at all." But, thanks for coming on this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Just spending my Saturday night last night breaking down some hockey. So trying to get ready for the stretch run here.
Yep. And coach, I wanna just talk I wanna talk a little bit about we'll get into the West Jenny game. I wanna get into I looked at this program over the last, well, you can say 3 or 4 years, and guys have been on a fantastic run, and obviously the run you guys had last year and so far this year. And for me, being a Rome guy, I said it reminds me of the 80s in Rome where the hockey program is really good, the basketball program is really good, and it just makes you go down memory lane a little bit. So I want to just kind of ask you, what's went into this since you've taken over as the head coach in Rome? What's really transpired for Rome hockey? I know there's a lot of youth coming up, but it's been a great turnaround.
Yeah, I've been in charge here for about 12 years. There's some ups and some downs along the way, and I think we really got this program turned around. Number one, from a character standpoint. Just last week we spent the week with our players here, going into elementary schools and working with some of these youth kids and joining Ridge Mills kindergarten out there for a learn to skate field trip that they had. We have great kids, and I think that really goes a long way. When you got the right kids in the room, I should call them young men in the room, young men and women, actually. When you got the right people in the room, it goes a long way for success. So that's the first thing. You got to have good character, and we've been blessed the last couple of years to have a lot of talent to go along with it. So when that talent meets good character and hard work, it opens the door for success.
And Coach, I was just talking a little bit about, the boys basketball team. And I said, over the years, I mean, when I played basketball, our tallest kid was Jimmy Catanzaro at 6 foot. We never had that true center in Rome. And now Nick's got a 6'10" kid, but he's found a style of play that's really worked for his program. Is there a certain style that you guys play that you implemented that's really worked for you guys over the years?
Yeah, and shout out to Cordell. I had him in class, that 6'8" guy that Nick's got. He's a great kid, so I'm glad to see him out there. Yeah, the last couple of years we've really got ourselves into some of our systems that have been working for us. You go out there and watch us, and when we buy into our systems, when we fall in love with the details and we are in position, that's when good things start to happen for us. We've gotten a lot this year and in years past in the transition. And a lot of our systems and our forecheck and things that we work on position-wise put us in a place where we can have success in those areas of the ice.
Now, I got to get into, obviously, the West Jenny game. And I was not at the West Jenny game. My daughter had a basketball game, so I was at her game. But everybody in Rome had said, what an atmosphere for a hockey game. One of the best atmospheres a lot of people said that they've been to in the last so many years for a hockey game. And I know obviously it's West Jenny, but just talk to us about the Kennedy Arena itself and the home field, home ice advantage for you guys playing at that arena.
Yeah, it was great. I had popped my head out about 6:30 to see, what was going on there. And usually on a normal night, it's not as quiet as it's usually a little bit more quiet than that. But 6:30, the place was starting to be packed. I saw, blankets going down early. And then we popped out there for warm-ups and look around, and there wasn't many seating available. The corner was packed. The student section was rolling in. It was just a great crowd. And it's good when, you look down at the scoreboard where all the students sit and you can't even see what the score is because they're blocking the scoreboard. So, that was great to see the turnout there from the community. And hopefully we can continue that to go here down the stretch. We get 3 more home games here, and hopefully we can get some people out, and especially even more coming when sectional starts.
Yeah, and Coach, let's talk about. I don't want to spend too much time on last season because obviously you're already into this season, looking ahead a little bit. But you guys had the great run last year. You guys fell to West Jenny, of course, on as everybody keeps saying, that controversial goal, and then you guys had it again in this upcoming West Jenny game from this past week. Obviously, they're a great team, but just talk about the challenges that West Jenny brings for you guys.
Yeah, when you look at a West Genesee team, they always do things the right way. We talked about us, working our details and playing to our systems. You're talking about a group there in Camillus that loves those details, and that's what puts them up there every year. They're well coached and they buy into a lot of and all of what Coach Calabufo is putting out there in front of them. So they're very defensively sound. They're always in their position, and it's hard to get things against a team like that. A lot of teams that we play, they give you a couple mistakes along the way. West Jenny, you got to earn everything that you're going to get against them.
And Coach, talk to us about, because I was going up and down the roster for you guys, and you guys still have a young roster. You got an 8th grader on the team, but I was trying to go through and look, and I think I only counted 6 seniors on this group.
So we have a senior goalie, 2 senior defensemen, and it'd be six seniors here. And we have talent all throughout from the 8th grade up to the seniors. And it's a good time to be a part of this program. And looking forward to continuing the run that we have this year, to many years down the road.
And Coach, talk to us a little bit about your senior Tyler Locker and how special of a player he is for you. I know he's been in the program with you, but just talk to him a little bit, if you can, about what he brings. And he's a great talent.
Yeah, Tyler's been fantastic. You come and watch him play, and you can see that he has all the tools to be a great hockey player, and hopefully that continues down the line here in college moving forward. But he's done it all for us, obviously putting up the big scoring numbers, but the things that people don't always see is what he does for us in the defensive end and on the penalty kill. He's just been great for us. And the biggest step I've seen him take is in a leadership role this year. He's holding people accountable in the locker room. He's trying to get people going. I was telling people this story that against West Jenny on Tuesday, he recorded his 100th point of his career. Just so happened to be on the first goal of our defenseman, freshman there, Miles Mendiola, his first goal of his career. And he looks at me, he goes, "You got to give him the puck." So that just says a lot about him and his character. And, that's what we need. One of the things I was looking into the year is where's our leadership going to come from? And he's really stepped up and filled that role for us.
And Coach, who are some of the other names this year? I know Jake Bruno's right up there too, your junior, who's had a good season for you, but talk to us about some of the other players that have stepped up this year, and maybe talk to us about, a kid or two that may be coming into the season, he's overachieved and playing well for you. Talk to us a little bit about the team.
Yeah, that top line that we got there with Locker and Jacob Bruno that you mentioned and Jackson Marchone, they're right up there. I think they're the top 3 or 4 in Section 3 in scoring for Division I. Those guys, they love each other. They're the best of friends. They're inseparable. So it's really cool to see that move from off the ice to on the ice and vice versa. Really like what they've done for us, and the offensive output that they've given us can't really be replaced. But we've getting scoring all throughout the roster. We got other guys, Mark Verano and Jack Carpenter, Gio Gualteri, Aiden Van Wee. He's normally a defenseman. He's come up and played some forward for us, and good contributions from PJ Suma up front as a senior as well. He's battling through some injuries along the way, really showing some heart. Some people don't realize we haven't really had a full roster all year long. We've played 5 games as a whole unit. One of our sophomores, Braden Meeks, has been out for a while. Hopefully we're getting him back at the end of next week. He played 5 games and had 10 points. We're really missing his output, and he's a guy that it's just we're missing his energy. He flies around, he's our energy guy, and we've really been missing him. So we're looking forward to getting him back. Defensively, we've been solid. I think, this has been the deepest group of defensemen that we have. Most nights we run 6 defensemen, which has never really been the case, sometimes 7. But yeah, we're getting good contributions from Chris Bremen and Tanner Spina, who are 2 seniors there. They've been with us forever. They've done a great job. Also have Stephen Mudry stepped up for us as a junior. He's been a guy that we're really happy with some of the things we've seen from him so far. And we got, of course, what I think is one of our top defensemen. There's Landon Sully. He gets on the ice against everybody's top line, and he continues to do what he does. He's a shutdown guy. Anytime, we need to shut down a line, he's on the ice all the time against those groups. And then we got the 2 young guys there in Miles Mendiola and Connor Wyman, who, when you get an 8th grader and a 9th grader in there and on the defensive line there, and, you get them out and they're playing what sometimes is a regular shift, that's just great contribution that you weren't really expecting here coming into the season. 2 young defensemen come in, and, those guys move the puck better than anybody that we have. And, they got some learning to do and they got some growing up to do, but I really like the things they do with the puck and getting us out of the zone. So they've been a pleasant surprise for us for sure.
Hey, Coach, I got to ask you about your sophomore goalie that had 34 saves against West Jenny. Was big for you last year, and he's been, I think, one of the best goalies in the area this year for you as well. But talk to us about Dante if you can.
Dante's fantastic. He gives us a chance to win every time he's in the net. And, he's just a competitor. It's his net, and he's not going to let you put anything in it. That's really what it comes down to. And I think that, a lot of people say, hey, you got a really good goalie there. And first thing I tell them is we got 3 really good goalies in our program. And, Dante does a great job, as you know, and Will Gurley, also our senior goalie. And even Liz LaPointe, she's done a great job for us in the net. And then the other thing I tell them is, you come and see Dante play he's better than everyone even thinks he is. He really is. He makes some of these saves look easy, and they're not. And just watching him work at practice and the work ethic he has, we're just really glad to have him in the net.
All right, I got to ask you, I wasn't there, but everybody said it was at the 11-minute mark. Another controversial goal. Was it? All I heard was Locker, it went off, it ricocheted off the post. Did it go in? Should it have been a goal, or was it the right call?
So there's a couple streams there. Try to take a look at it. It's not really clear. My gut tells me no. But again, it is what it is. You can control what you can control. And, we're back to work, and we're ready to move on to what's next for us here, which is a big non-league game against that CNS Liverpool joint team that they have there.
Coach, I know that game against West Jenny, it was a night to honor Michael Jensen, the fallen police officer, who's actually a family friend of ours too, and I know he played for you. How special of a night was that? How special of a kid and a player was Michael?
It was very great to have Michael's family come there and to honor him that night. So he was on the team when I was assistant under Greg Cuthbertson, and Michael, he's just got a smile that could, he's just his magnetic personality. You just want to be around him. You want to be around guys that are always happy. You want to be around guys that are good character guys, and just kind of teammates gravitated towards him. And it was just a nice event for us to honor him. I know we had his captain come down and his partner from the Syracuse Police Department, and a couple of his former teammates and friends were there to, drop the puck and, just keep his name around as the hero that he was.
Yeah, well said, Coach. And I know you don't like to look too far ahead, but I think everybody around here is looking forward to a West Jenny RFA Part 2. But as you said, you got to finish out the regular season and get through the sectionals, and you guys got a couple of tough ones coming up.
Yeah, we with a tie that night against West Genesee, we put ourselves in a place where we control our own destiny for the number 1 seed. So we have 2 league games left next Monday, not this coming Monday, but the following Monday out at FM, and the following Tuesday out at CAS. So 2 away games. We're able to get 2 wins there, and we'll have the number 1 seed. And, we obviously wanted to go there and win that game, but a tie for us was better than a tie for them, which is always a good thing. So, FM and CAS are 2 good teams. Both are going to be looking to battle for the top 4 seed here. So we're expecting 2 good games there.
Well, Coach, listen, best of luck the rest of the way, and we'll do it again soon, and I always appreciate you taking the time to talk some hockey with me.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me out.
You got it, Coach. Best of luck to you.
All right.
So that was RFA hockey coach Jason Nowicki, and he's done a fantastic job with the program, and I always love hearing him talk about the players, the team, and I didn't know they were battling through so many injuries that they haven't even been full strength. So, hats off to coach, and look forward. I think we all are, right? I think we're all looking forward to seeing RFA West Jenny Part 2, and it just, how crazy is it that you have the controversial goal last year in the Section 3 finals against West Jenny, and then you have it this year against West Jenny as well. And again, I wasn't at the game. A lot of people said it wasn't a goal, but some people said maybe it could have been a goal. Again, I wasn't there. All I know is last year was a goal when they showed that on TV, the replay, numerous times. So in just a little bit, we'll have Coach Emily and Coach Mike Durr, father and daughter, come on. They've both been inducted into the New York State Basketball Hall of Fame. Emily's been on with us, numerous times over the years. She's always been gracious enough that when I reach out to her, she jumps on, and she said they didn't have a game today. They had a game yesterday, I believe, against Northwestern, which they won. So I'll be excited to talk to her here in just a few minutes. A lot of people have asked, what's your prediction for the NFL? So I'll go into some of my prediction here, and then at the end of the interview here with coaches, I'll flip back into it. So I haven't really been high on the Bills. I'm not a Bills fan. I am a Giants fan, but I'm more of a college football fan than I am really an NFL guy. But obviously, I watch the NFL. And we're going to have to hold because I think we got Coach Emily and Mike on right now. So I'm going to give you my picks here in just a little bit. So let me see if I can get them on. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Very good. How are you, Rick?
I'm doing awesome. It's great to have you both on. I'm a little intimidated to have father and daughter on. And I'm going to kind of bounce around a little bit because I want to ask a couple good questions before I get into some of the fun stuff. But I was fortunate enough that I coached with my dad, and my dad was my assistant coach when I was the head coach at Sequoia High School. And I will say we had some interesting coaches meetings on Sunday at my mom and dad's houses. I think mom had to come down and break up a few arguments. But I always say this, it was the best time in my young coaching that I could have ever asked for, coaching with my dad. So I'm going to start with Dad first, Emily, and say, Dad, what was it like to be part of your daughter's staff?
It was a lot of fun. Obviously, she came from Iowa State, getting done playing, and that was her kind of first coaching spot at MVCC. And she brought a lot of the stuff that she learned at Iowa State. So that was very helpful to me because I picked up a lot of stuff, even though I've been around the game for a long time. The newer players and the newer up and down offenses weren't my forte, and it was Emily's forte. So I actually learned a lot from her. And like you said, it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. We had a great time. Johnny Hodge was with us, who is now the head coach up at Poland High School. He was with us also. So between the three of us, we had a great time, and I thought Emily did a great job for her first time around.
All right, how about you now? What was it like coaching with Dad?
It was great. It was a great experience. And, kind of like he said, I was more of the up pace, fast offense. People want quick offense, spread it out. He just simplified everything for us. I still remember one day in practice, Coach Hodge and I were drawing up this press breaker, and he literally stopped us in the middle and was like, just get the ball to the middle and pass the ball. And we were like, yeah, you're right. And we broke presses the rest of the season. So it was great. He's just a well of knowledge, and I've learned from him every day that I talk to him. He always has something to say or some pointers to give. And, he's being inducted into the Hall of Fame for a reason. He just simplifies the game in a way that I think old coaches do. And he's just been a tremendous help to me.
What do you mean by old coaches?
I feel like I should have my dad on because my dad would joke with me when I was
older.
Because my dad would say, just get to the basics and just run the ball. You watch too much TV with all this, fancy stuff. Sometimes it's the basics, right, that work. But so, Mike, I want to ask you, obviously, Notre Dame is so special to both you guys, and you coming back and spending 21 years, on the bench. I'll say this. I believe we played you guys when I was at RFA just once, and and you guys beat us up pretty good when I was playing. I was the point guard for Rome. But how special was it for you to come back to Notre Dame and spend so many great years there?
Oh, yeah. I went to school there. All my brothers and sisters went to Catholic schools, either Notre Dame or St. Francis de Sales or UCA. And obviously, all my kids went there after I went back. But no, it's a special place to me. I was lucky enough. My parents made the sacrifice to send me and my brothers and sisters through Catholic education, and it meant a lot to them. It meant a lot to us. And when I went back, I was there for 9 years helping Coach White out, and then I went to Poland for 2 years, and then I came back to Notre Dame. So, when I went back, the groundwork was already there. They already had great coaches, starting with Klein, and Dave Brown, Bobby Devins, and Coach White. So, the groundwork was already there. So, but as far as me being able to go back and coach in my alma mater, back then it was kind of a dream come true. And Obviously, like you said, Rocky, it is a very special place. Uh, for me, I'm on the board up there right now, and we're struggling to get students in, but I think we're finally turning the corner. So I'm still involved up there, which I feel real good about, and obviously it's held a huge place in my heart for my kids, my family, my wife, and we are just lucky enough to be there as long as I was there, and it was a lifetime experience, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
And I know, Emily, we always talk about your career when you're on here, and I was hoping my 8-year-old daughter would come downstairs because we were talking about you yesterday, and I was talking to her about you won a state championship, your coaching career, and I still think I know I ask you this question all the time, but I still think you're like 24th in the state in points with over 2,400. So my little daughter said, "Dad, did she score that in one season?" So we were just talking girls basketball because I'm coaching 3rd and 4th grade girls basketball, and I wish I coached girls before because they are so much easier to coach because they listen, and it's been great. But talk about your high school career, what it meant to you. Not only just to win the state championship, but you've been such a role model for so many people in this area. Talk about how special that is.
Yeah, it was truly special. And, as you referenced, winning that state championship my senior year was huge for our family and for our Notre Dame community. And I think the Utica area as a whole, just the culmination of my career, and for that to end on a high note and winning that state championship with a great group of girls and a great coaching staff. You couldn't have written a better story. I was on varsity for 5 years, so you can tell your daughter it wasn't one season. And I just learned and grew, and every season I felt like I got better. And I think my AAU seasons really helped me. Playing against the toughest competition across the nation, I think really prepared me for my high school years. But yeah, it was a great time, and for it to end in a state championship, like I said, I couldn't have written a better story. And I still keep in contact with a lot of girls on my team, and we always reference how that's one of our favorite memories of our lifetimes.
And Mike, you're going in. You guys are both going in to the Hall of Fame, and I just want to just talk briefly. I know Coach Knapp is another family friend of ours who his kids used to play travel team basketball, AAU, when it was Bob Manford and Frayne Allison basketball. So I know the Knapps pretty well. I know you coached against Al, and then Matt Lee, who's a kid I played against at Howland Patton, another local kid. G-Max coming in. How nice is it to go in with this class and Coach Knapp and Coach Lee, more local guys?
It's great. Like you said, I coached against Matt when he was at Howland Patton, and Mark Frey and Stevie Heinz was his coach, and they're actually still on the bench with Matt down at Herkimer. So, that we got a lot of ties. And Coach Knapp's not going to go until next year now. I guess Scotty's getting inducted into the Siena Hall of Fame this year. So I guess he didn't want to take a lot of air out of that. So he's going to go in next year. But, me and Al was one of the first people to call me when we found out that we were being inducted. And, we still get our competitive digs in against each other, but we're really, really good friends, and it means a lot. A kid he coached against, and Matt Lee's career at Herkimer is kind of crazy great. He's got 500 wins already, so it's very, very special. And then obviously GMAC going in, and a couple other guys from Schenectady that I know about. It'll be a great night, but the icing on the cake is going in with Emily. Obviously, that's something I'm very, very proud about. And, she's done a great job. I couldn't be more happier that we're both going in together.
It's spoken like a true dad, right there. And Emily, I see you smiling, and it's so cool. My sister and my dad are in the Rome Sports Hall of Fame together, so I know how special that is. But Emily, we've talked about your coaching career and how where you're started and where you're at today. And I know throughout the interviews that you and I have done, Dad's always been a mentor of yours. What are some things that he's taught you along the way that you've learned from him? That you've been able to instill now with you coaching at the collegiate level?
I think the biggest thing that my dad has taught me is just his work ethic. He works hard at his craft every day, and he's always learning and getting better. And he instilled that in me as a player and now as a coach, just really grinding things out and working hard and finding new ways to stand out and be creative. And yeah, he just keeps it simple, like I said, and hard work pays off. And then again, like I referenced before, basketball is a beautiful game, and sometimes you just got to simplify it and get back to kind of the old school ways, like you say. So we'll have talks after my games now, and he'll just simplify things for me. Um, so yeah, I think again, the number one thing is just work ethic, and the number two thing is just simplifying things. And then as a coach, knowing your platform and being a pillar in the community, I think is really important. And I think anybody who has met my dad before says he's a great person before they even talk about the coaching aspect. So just super, super proud of him. Very well deserved to get this induction into the Hall of Fame. And I'm just super, super humbled and honored that I get to go in with my dad and we can create this memory together.
Mike, I always ask Emily, who were some of her mentors, growing up and who's helped her kind of along the way in her journey with coaching. How about yourself? Who've been some folks over the years? I know it's 21 total years? How many total years you got in coaching?
I I've coached probably close to 40. I started out at St. Pete's Grammar School right out of college, and I went up to Notre Dame for 9 years with Coach White as a freshman JV and varsity assistant. And I left there for 2 years, went to Poland. That was my first head varsity job. Then I went back to Notre Dame for 21 as the head coach. So I was up to Notre Dame for 30 plus. And then, at St. Pete's. And then I went, I helped Emily out for a couple years at MV. And then I was able to join Rob Schroner's staff up at SUNY Poly where I worked. I was his assistant for 4 years. So I've kept my nose into it for a long, long time. But I think the best move I did make was when I did get out. The reason I got out was because I wanted to go out to Iowa State with my wife and watch Emily play. So that was kind of the main reason I got out when I did at Notre Dame, because I didn't want to miss her playing anymore. So that was special. But I've had my foot into it a long time. But my mentors, I think, obviously Jim Klein, when he was at Notre Dame and I was in grammar school, Klein was way ahead of his time. He brought, high school basketball to a different level. He brought teams in from like the math out of Maryland, Lutheran, Long Island. He was just ahead of his time. And obviously I came up through the Notre Dame system, so I learned a lot from him. Then Coach White taught me probably the most important thing about coaching is you're there for the kids. And Joe was always there for us and the kids at Notre Dame, the kids at St. Peter's. So Joe obviously was a great mentor to me. Then obviously Larry Costello, when I played at Utica College, my senior year was Larry's first year there. We're still Division III. He started recruiting for Division I, and Larry taught us a hell of a lot. And I picked his brains. And then, of course, the coaches you coach against, you always good coaches steal from great coaches. So, but one of the guys that I truly love around here, and I know you'll find this special, is Coach Buddy Evans. Buddy and Murph and the guys up at Hamilton College, you could always go up there and pick their brains. But I think Buddy's passion for basketball is unparalleled. He just loves the game, and every time I see him, he's always at a game, and every time I see him, we always talk. And he's still got that passion for the game. He's got to be 85 now, but him and Gail are always out there watching games, and he was kind of a real silent mentor in my background. But Buddy, just his love and passion for the game, I took a lot away from him. So those guys were probably the most important guys that I was able to mentor myself after.
Coach Evans still yells at me when I see him, and still yells at me. He was just at my son's modified basketball game this week, and you're right. I don't think he's missed a varsity boys game. Sits
Right.
in the same spot. They're good friends of my family, so Coach Evans and Gail are close, and they're family to me. So,
Yep.
Emily, I know last year we talked about your cousins, the Trinkus girls, and the great run that Notre Dame went on last year. They're off to another great start this year. How nice is it and how special is it to be able to kind of follow their career and again, how great Notre Dame, the program's still doing?
Yeah, it's super special. I was lucky enough to get to follow their run last year, watching the games on a laptop. And I think it was 10 years from when I won, so kind of a full circle moment for our family. But super proud of them. They've done a great job. And for them to get Notre Dame girls basketball to state championship level again is just super important. I still give them calls, and, I talk to Elle a lot, and, competitive digs, like my dad said, and always saying, you're not better than me and I could still take you, and all that good stuff. But they're just great people too. They're very humble, and they just work hard. And now that Maggie's graduated, I think she's having a good career at Mount St. Mary's right now. So just super proud of the players they are, but more importantly, just the people. My Aunt Beth, teaches them right, and hoping that they can, win more than one state championship, unlike their older cousin.
So I got to ask you, you're fighting the line. Last year, you guys won what, the NIT championship?
Yeah, WBIT. Yeah.
Yep. How about this year's team? NCAA tournament team, you hope?
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal for us. Unfortunately, we've had some injuries that have crept in. Two of our, big time players are out for the season, but we just have a great group of girls that really work together, and they work hard every day. And there's just this sense of energy and passion that we've seen the last couple of weeks. And every game's different. It's kind of a puzzle. You have to fit the pieces together, but we're hitting our stride, and we're going on a nice little run right here. So we just take games one at a time and see where it leads us.
Ted, how many games you get a chance to go watch down there?
We went out to our first two games against Florida State and Marquette. We went out to Illinois, and then we were lucky enough they played in a tournament down in Nashville. And Nashville's one of me and my wife's favorite towns to go to. We've probably been there 6 or 7 times now.
They love Broadway.
Yeah.
Yep.
How can you not?
So we went down for 2 games there, and then they played out at Canisius. So we went out to that game, and then this week my oldest son Danny lives in Jersey City, and then plays at Rutgers on Thursday night. So we're going down for that, and then from there they play Maryland on Sunday. So we're going to shoot down to Maryland and watch that game, and then hopefully we'll get out to the Big Ten tournament out in Indianapolis at the end of the year. So never get a chance to see her enough. We love following her. We watch every game on TV. So, it still keeps us young and keeps us, interested in the game, and we just love following her around and watching her team play.
So I got to get to your guys' predictions. Emily, it looks like you got a Bills jersey on, so I know who it looks like you're picking. Going with Bills today, the Mafia. Dad, who you going with today?
Gotta go with the Bills. Yep.
All right. How about the NFC game? Who you guys like in that one?
I want the Commanders, but I think the Eagles win. Who do you think, Dad?
I think the young kid from Washington's going to do it.
I'm with you. I think I'm riding him today, and I'm going to ride with the Bills today. But man, it's tough to beat Mahomes in Kansas City.
Yes, it is. But
he's tough, but I think this is the year.
Yeah, there's been a lot of tears when the Bills have played the Chiefs in the past few years. So I'm hoping like the fourth time's a charm or third time's a charm.
No, absolutely. Well, listen, guys, I appreciate you guys both taking the time. I always love, I love talking to you. We'll do it again soon. You've always been gracious to come on with me and talk some local stuff with me. So keep up the good work. Proud of both you guys. Coach, thanks for coming on this morning. I just got to ask you, did you get all set up yourself? Because my father, I would have had to drive to his house to set him up on this thing. Were you okay to do it on your own?
Em kind of walked me through it.
Yeah, he called me early this morning. I was like, oh, boy. He's like, is this a Zoom thing? What is this?
You did good. It looks great, and proud of both of you.
Yeah.
You guys.
And give your father my best, please.
I will. Thanks, guys. Good luck to you the rest of the way.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Rocky. Love you, Dad.
All right, honey. Talk to you later.
So that was awesome. Emily has always come on with me, and I love talking to her. And maybe when the season's over, I'll get her back on, and we can talk a little bit more about her career, which I've done so many times with her. And listen, having Dad on, like it reminded me of talking to my dad, because my dad got out of coaching to watch his kids play. And one of the things that, I keep telling people, my answer is like, well, how come you don't go take a head football job? I don't want to miss my kids play, right? My son's hopefully going to play football his career. And, if I'm coaching somewhere on Friday night, I can't watch my son play on Friday night. So I fully get that, but just a great family, great everything. And I'm happy Dad was able to come on with me. And you could tell when you talk about it, when Dad's talking, Emily's got that smile. And when Emily's talking, Dad's got that smile. He's so proud of his daughter, and Emily's so proud of her dad. And it's just a special relationship. Another relationship that goes to show you that sports brings so many people together. So I gave my pick. So I'm going to give you my pick real fast, and then I'm going to sign off for today. And remember, tune in next Wednesday night on the Rock Pile for the Mental Health and Sports Podcast. I'm excited to have that. I'll be moderating that discussion. I'm going to ride with the Bills. I think it's the Bills' year. I think the Bills have the better team. Tough to go against Mahomes in Kansas City. Josh gets him in the regular season. Mahomes gets him in the playoffs. It's at Arrowhead today, but I'm going to ride with the Bills. I think they get it done. And I'm going to ride with the young buck, as Coach Mike Durr just said. Something about these Commanders and Daniels as quarterback, that if he can play a game where he plays flawless, maybe the ball's in his hands late in the fourth quarter where they need a score. And he's already had probably the best rookie season of all time. And we can get into that discussion another time. So I'm going to run with the Bills today, and I'm going to run with Washington. Originally, I was picking Philly because I said Philly's got the best offensive line in the league. They got one of the best defenses in the league. But I don't know how the injury with Jalen Hurts is. He's been a little banged up. He hasn't really been able to throw the ball too well. And I know all you got to do is turn around and hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley. So they'll be doing that a lot today. But something about these Commanders. So I'm going to roll with Washington today, and I'm going to roll with the Bills Mafia to go to the Super Bowl. I think the winner of that AFC game wins the Super Bowl. So this could be Buffalo's year. So again, I want to thank Coach Jason Nowicki for coming on this morning, talking RFA hockey. I want to make sure I thank Coach Emily and Mike Durr for jumping on and talking with me this morning as well. Make sure to tune in Wednesday night at 7 o'clock to the Rock Pile. We'll talk mental health and sports. On behalf of all the followers, on behalf of Coach Pags, Coach Medicis, the Statman, and myself, thanks for tuning in today to the Mohawk Valley Sports Watch. We'll see you again soon right here.